What's going on, folks? Welcome to Got Your Back live stream edition, brought to you by our good friends at Mr. Dirk. Pretty good weekend for the Oilers. Is that 2 games in a row they haven't given up a single goal? How's that for the team that answers questions nonstop about their ability to defend? Well, shut out the LA Kings, shut out the Anaheim Ducks. I don't care who the opposition is. You give up nothing, something is going right, and that's definitely the case for the Oilers right now. Jason Strudwick standing by. We're going to get to him in a moment to talk about the Oilers' upcoming game against the Kings. Going to talk about Leon Draisaitl and 50, yet another 50-goal season from the Oilers sniper. Got Your Back brought to you, as always, by Mr. Dirk, located just off White Avenue and 102nd Street. It's one of your one-stop shops for all of your clothing needs. I was in there last week. A little embarrassed. I gave Sterling a pretty good run for his money. I went full poodle on him in there. I got picky, you know. Tried on an entire suit. We had it all ready to go, fully pinned up, fully chalked, the whole bit. They take you through the whole service there. And then I pulled the pin on it last minute. Just decided it wasn't quite right. And you know, when it's not quite right, you can't do it. But Sterling didn't care. He was good with that. So we kept digging, found another one that I liked, and ended up leaving extremely happy. Great customer service down at Mr. Dirk, just off White Avenue and 102nd Street. Got lots of fantastic casual clothing options as well. Highly recommend them, and happy to have them as title sponsors here on Got Your Back. Rishaug and Strudwick. Struddy, how you doing, my man? How's the weekend?
Great weekend, buddy. How about you?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good, man. It was, busy, some family time and such, and really enjoyed it. You know what I did again, Struds?
Here we go.
You know what I did again?
Workout?
No. I forgot to hit record on the video and audio again.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember last live stream we did this? And the problem is when I put it to audio, then we have no beginning ad. So right. I'm not gonna redo the entire intro like I did last time, but we are gonna do a bit of a reset. Thanks for your patience here, folks. Sorry about this.
No problem.
So this is a live pickup, we call it in the industry. So here we go, hitting record, and then we'll kind of pick it up. We'll see if anybody notices. All right, here we are. That was not a natural start.
No, that's awkward.
This is so awkward. Oh man, I miss Zuby. We need to have Zuby on every podcast, or we won't have these sorts of issues when we have Zuby.
Right.
Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Brought to you by Mr. Dirk, our title sponsor. It was a good weekend for the Oilers Struds. And a big week coming up here. So we're going to dig into all of that. Also really excited to have Nick Bjugstad. Had a chat with him the other day. Gave us a really good Got Your Back story. We haven't done one on the local pod here for a little bit, the Got Your Back stories. But we still love doing them. So by all means, send them to us if you have a Got Your Back story, gybpod@gmail.com. What did you get up to this weekend, Struds?
Just the normal stuff. Chasing the kids around, driving around, chaperoning, and trying to clean out. I'm trying to get ahead of things like taxes and clean out my garage, kind of getting things organized, right? So I've been pretty proactive. I really had this desire to do, started picking up dog poop, nothing exciting that I put on Twitter or my Instagram, but I'm trying to be proactive because I have a really busy April coming up with the Alzheimer's tournament, my own D-Man camp that's coming up in a couple weeks. My kids have sports. My wife also has a life that she wants me to spend with her. So, and not to mention Oilers in their playoff run. So I thought it was a good chance to kind of get a few things done here, at least get a head start on, maybe not done, but started.
Man, that's pretty, you're thinking ahead. It's good to get ahead of some of that stuff before playoffs and such hits. I see you didn't get around to cleaning the tough shirts out of your closet, though. I see.
No, I love this shirt. Love this shirt. This is my lucky shirt. Every day I wear this, I always have a good day. So here it is.
Really?
Tight. Oh yeah, feeling good about it. Yeah.
It's actually it's a certain brand. Is it a charitable cause of some sort?
I think I got it down the States. I forget who it's. I don't know. It's someone famous's brand, and I don't know. They're like, just please wear it. I'm like, come on, I'm married already. You can't buy my love. So,
I don't know, buddy. Unless that's straight up for the kids in some way. I just am not sure.
No, it's to be honest. I love the fabric. It's a very stout fabric.
Yeah.
I like that. Sometimes I like the looser fitting ones. This one's a little bit stouter, and I like that feeling. So
Straight Off the Pipe podcast says you guys are starting the show lately like the Oilers did the first half of the season. That's a fair chirp. That is a fair chirp. I guess I got a lot to manage here. I got to hit record on a lot of things and figure a lot of things out. Whatever. We make mistakes. We don't care. Okay, Struds, let's get to the weekend that was for the Oilers, and that is the breakdown brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They supply fantastic maintenance-free decking and fencing products. It's getting to be that season with the snow melting. Go take a look at what you got in the backyard. If it's wood and if it needs staining and sanding or it's falling apart or has holes in it and you're thinking it's time to do something new, DLR Vinyl Products, locations in Calgary and Edmonton. They got you covered. Maintenance-free fencing and decking. It goes in. You don't ever have to worry about it again. It looks fantastic, stays fantastic, stays looking as good as it did the day it went in. Highly recommend it. Locations in Calgary and Edmonton. That is DLR Vinyl Products. 6-0 against the Anaheim Ducks. I don't know if you can have a statement game against Anaheim this late in the season, but the Oilers definitely didn't leave anything to chance on the strength of Jack Campbell's really solid first period, Struds. They came out and they got the job done in what could have been a bit of a trap game and a letdown night, and thanks in large part to Campbell.
Well, the Oilers have been rolling for a long time here. They played really well. And you're right. I mean, they could have had a bit of a letdown, and I don't know if you would have said that's okay, but you're like, okay, I get it. They've been playing very well for a long stretch. But my headline is Jack Campbell. I've been banging the gong that are going to need him, and not necessarily need him. You don't know when you're going to need him, but you need him to feel good about himself. You need him to have some confidence. And now that's 2 starts, I think, that we can say that he's played well. And I think getting a shutout is a pretty big difference between a 6-1 win. So I think it's good for him. He made some timely saves. Yeah, he got lucky early when who was it, Bachan or whatever, hit the post. But you know what? You got to be lucky to be good sometimes. So for me, that is a very important game for Jack Campbell. I expect to get at least 1 more start here before the end of the year, maybe 2. I'm not really sure how it depends. I think how the standings kind of unfold for the Oilers and how the Kings and Vegas do. But that's a huge one, Shogger. That is a huge game for Jack Campbell because he really relies on confidence, and he hasn't had it in the last stretch.
Can we talk about the fact that Jack Campbell started that game and why? I was surprised.
Really?
And yeah, when we went there, because, well, think about it. By starting him in that game, you're now saying you're starting Campbell in 2 of the next 3 at a time when the Oilers are chasing a division title. Mm-hmm. I understand wanting to give Skinner the odd night off and some rest, but he would have been rested starting Saturday night. That would have been no big deal for Skinner to have started that game. So now you're in a zone where because you got back-to-backs coming up, you're playing Campbell in 2 of 3. That doesn't make sense for me right now because of where they're at and what they're chasing in the standings. So you know what I wonder? My brain gets going. You know what I'm wondering? Yeah. You know what I'm thinking? Wonder if Skinner's nursing something. Huh. That's what that tells me. Okay. That Skinner is maybe nursing something and they're erring on the side of letting him work his way through it. That's how much that start for Campbell seemed a little odd. Now, we asked Woodcroft about it after the game. I think Gregor did. And what was the thought process behind starting Campbell? And he kind of snapped and looked at him and said, I think he gave us a chance to win tonight. Like he wanted nothing to do with the question. Yeah. That smacks to me, though, starting Campbell in 2 or 3, like maybe Skinner's nursing something.
Well, that's one possibility for sure. And, you always have a better sense of that stuff than really anyone else. I think the other thing, though, too, I go back to my original comment. You're going to need this guy feeling good. You don't know what's going to happen. And you're always worried about injury with every position. And unfortunately, when you're a goalie, there's only one guy behind you. There's not multiple guys that are behind you to take that step up. So I don't think it's so much. So let's assume there isn't an injury to Skinner. I really think it's about you maybe want to get Skinner just tidied up, a little extra practice time with the goalie coach to kind of work on and fine tune a couple of areas of their game.
They got nothing but practice time coming up, Struds. Look at their schedule. Nothing but practice time.
I know, but
2 days between games on the road, twice in one trip. Bizarre.
Right, but you got to keep in mind the conversations that go on around this. This isn't just a head coach making a decision on a goalie, right? So this is a conversation it would be with the goalie coach. It would be with the other coaches. The goalie coach will be talking to his goalies, talking to the head coach, maybe getting a sense of how the room feels. How does Skinner feel about his game? How does Campbell feel about his game? Like, there's so many things. And I think that at times we get so focused on just like we're thinking it's decisions made in a vacuum. There are a lot of things that are going on around it. So you're right. There could be an injury to Skinner. There could be. I
won't say injury. I won't say injury because injury people get twitchy.
Okay.
Just something. Something, right? Just my elbow's bugging me. Just give him give him the extra couple of days rest.
But everyone has something. Like at this time of year, there's no one that has nothing.
So my point is they're letting their goalie work through his something, even if it's just a little something.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair comment. But there's a lot of things that go into these decisions, and so I don't look at it saying, oh, this is an endorsement of Campbell being 2 or 3. There's something going on. Maybe they just want to get Campbell going. And let's be honest, with all due respect to Anaheim Ducks, that lineup is right now not really NHL quality, like even an average team. They're giving up historic number of shots against. Gibson's fighting for his life back there, but his body language. And I don't watch a lot of Ducks games because I, quite frankly, don't really enjoy it. But he looks like he's just, he's just ready for this nightmare to end. The coach, who knows what's happening to him. So there's a lot of things going in. So that's a game that even with quote unquote your backup goalie, you should feel pretty good about winning that game.
Yeah, no, I agree. We are streaming live on Twitter and on YouTube and on Facebook. We tried once, and for some reason, the whole thing fell apart. So we had to do like a kind of a redo there. So sorry for those that hopped on originally with us. JL is asking, is Struddy's organ warmed up yet? Struddy, you ready to do a little, you warmed up the organ? Ready for a little singing there, bud?
Yeah, no, you got to give it. It's just, people think you just start great. It doesn't just happen like that. You need to have time or preparation. What's the song? How am I feeling that day? Here's what I want to do today. I want you to sing the Weiss Johnson jingle. Okay, you don't have to do it right now. Right.
But where I would normally play the Weiss Johnson jingle, can you sing it?
I could do it. Well, I'll just be honest. To start, without proper warm-up techniques that I use, it won't be my best. I will do it. But
okay, well, I'm going to do the ad read, and while I'm doing the ad read, you turn your camera off and warm up your organ, then you can do here we go.
So
Weiss Johnson, 45 years in the business. Should you need a new furnace, garage heater, air conditioner, hot water tank, or any of those things serviced, Weiss Johnson is the place to go. They're Edmonton's #1 choice for heating, air conditioning, plumbing services. You can give them a call at 780-463-3096. I know Dennis over at Weiss Johnson has felt good about the Oilers goaltending lately. He's texted me about multiple goaltending scenarios over the last couple of games. So as we hurtle towards the playoffs, Dennis and Weiss Johnson looking forward to this Oiler run. Weiss Johnson, your #1 choice. Struddy.
This one's for you, Dennis. Weiss Johnson, oh, hey.
That was pretty good, buddy.
I know.
Actually, that was not garbage.
No warm-up either, Dennis.
You were even on pitch. You were even matched the pitch of their jingle when you did that.
People laugh when I say my organ is very powerful, and it is. But that's without a warm-up. I risked injury for Weiss Johnson. I don't usually do that. So
there's a button here that establishes whether this podcast is for kids or not, and I feel like I need to find that. And anyway,
there's 2 times I risk injury in my organ. 1, Weiss Johnson. 2, for love. That's the only 2 times I've done it in the history.
The stream is loving it. Killed it. Love it. Attaboy. So looking forward to Strud singing the jingle. Yeah, lots of love on the stream for you. We sent out a tweet earlier, Struds, asking people for some questions. We're not going to get there quite yet, but just a few comments that are coming in here this morning. Good morning, guys. We like that. What the heck is Struds wearing? Looks like he's getting... No, I'm not going to read that one. Well, maybe I can. It's a podcast. Looks like he's getting groped by cartoons. That's stiff. Holy smokes, the pipes on this guy. Yeah. And you you leaned into it. You didn't just go like Weiss Johnson. No. You leaned into it with everything you had.
Yeah. A mixture of Pavarotti and Elton John. That's what I've been told by singing coaches.
Really? Pavarotti and Elton John.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a stretch. Okay, Leon Draisaitl. Listen, Saturday night, 2 points are on the line. I'll admit, I was having an off night. That was one of those nights I was sitting watching the game. I was like, oh, I'm just not feeling it tonight. At a certain point, I even turned to Tom Gazzola and wondered if I could crawl under the table and take a nap in between periods. It was one of those nights. It just, Then Leon Draisaitl gets going, and all of a sudden the search for 50 is on. And then bada bing, bada boom, short-handed, Leon Draisaitl skates down the ice and snipes one. We all knew how hard he was trying to get that 50. Here he is post-game in the Weiss Johnson sound box. It was kind of embarrassing. He was shooting everything he possibly could, but you know what? He's entitled to it, isn't he?
I was probably being a little too selfish there in the third. I was shooting it from everywhere, but I think that's all right. Usually I tend to overpass it, so for once in my life it's okay. But
yep, once in his life it's more than okay. An amazing puck distributor hits 50. An even strength goal, a power play goal, a shorthanded goal. Struds, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Voted the best passer in the league by his peers, and he's 3-time 50-goal scorer.
Just crazy. Just crazy, and I remember watching him the first time against Oil Kings, many years ago, and I'm like, who is this guy? I think he's amazing. His puck protection, his vision was elite even then. His skating is improved a lot. Not that it was bad, but it's improved to a level now that's incredible. So yeah, I mean, he just finds a way to impact the game in so many different ways, and I think that's what I really like about him is that he can pass, he can score, he can play physical. He can win faceoffs. Like, he just got a lot of different ways to impact the game. And when your top player and players are able to do that, it's a pretty nice thing for Jay Woodcroft to have.
Yeah, and his two-way game, like I was just chatting about this on Dusty's show this morning.
Yeah.
Through an 82-game schedule, I mean, there's going to be gaps in his two-way game, right? He's not the guy. He's not trying to win the Selke too. But when it's playoff time and it's time to lock it down in his own end, he absolutely knows how to play the right way. Like he does. We've seen it out of him. So to get to 50, it takes a little bit, and a little bit of cheating here and there, whatever. But overall, the two-way game that he can throw out there as a puck distributing 50-goal scorer, I think the best of Leon Draisaitl this season is about to come, Struds, because I just don't think he's a guy that necessarily throws that game out there all year long. Is that fair?
100%. They just went to the Western Conference Finals last year, and then you get to the training camp, you're like, we got to win or compete in 82 more games to get to game 83 where they really want to be. So they're going to cheat, right? They're going to find and not lazy is the wrong word, but you're going to find a way that maybe is a little bit more easy. But in 3 rounds last year, I saw from Leon Draisaitl the complete player that he is, and so I know it's in him. So when I comment on the Oilers finding their defensive game, it isn't necessarily directed at he and Connor. It's more about the entire team, because when it's time to get it done, he can get it done. Even winning faceoffs, like winning faceoff hurts, and it's determination to do it every night in every faceoff, and it's a grind. I remember talking to faceoff guys I played with, and it's hard. But when it comes down to it, he's going to find a way to get those faceoffs done. So, just an elite player that just hurts you in so many different ways and helps his own team.
So I want to go back to February. Oilers had a 4-game losing streak in February. February 12th to the 19th, they gave up 22 goals against in there. Unless I did the math wrong. God, that sounds like a lot. Did they give up that many?
Might be almost 6 goals a game, but
now I feel like I need to go back and check that, because I don't know. That
it's okay. Say they gave up quite a few. They gave up more than they want.
Well, no, I want to check it. Where are they here? Sorry, it's a live stream. We can do this, buddy. We can check in real time here. Where are the 4 losses? Well, I can't find them now. This is terrible radio. This is terrible podcasting. Anyway, point being, since that time, they've got 15 wins. I mean, they got 15 wins since they went on that little rip there. Just 4 losses. It's really impressive. Along with Boston, they're the hottest team in the National Hockey League right now. 9 wins in their last 10. They've rattled off 4 in a row. Somehow they're still 3rd in the Pacific through all of this. They're just dominating, yet still they find themselves in that spot in the standings. But I don't know if you'd have said to Jay Woodcroft like a month and a half ago, here's where your game is going to be at heading into the playoff, Struds. Like they seem to have everything falling into proper order right now.
They do, and we spoke about it I think it was last week on the pod about, which players would not feel good about their games. And, I brought up Broberg. I think you brought up Evander Kane, if I remember correctly. And I think since that time, we've seen Evander Kane kind of, to use Jay Woodcroft's words, his game round into form. Another player I think we didn't talk about, but a goalie would be Campbell. And now he's had 2 games where you're like, okay, this guy's starting to feel it again, right? With confidence. The penalty kill seems to be getting it done pretty well. The power play, I think we know what that can do. But then, just lines are starting to click. The Kulak-Desharnais pairing. I like that pairing, right? I think they really know what each other's strengths are. And they know how to use it. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse is, again, in Jay Woodcroft's words, probably played the best game of his year 2 games ago. I believe that was against the Kings. So, that's just the D and the goalie. And then the forwards, I think we've been through them before. So everyone seems to be kind of finding their game individually, and that's pushing the collective. I feel good about it if I'm an Oilers player. I guess, the part you touched on was the standings, and there's no guarantee the Oilers get out of third, right? I mean, if these other teams, are able to win and the Oilers maybe 1 or 2 losses, they can end up in third. But the bigger thing for me is for them to finish with their game in order of the season, rather than, let's say they were going for a top spot, but their game wasn't in order. I would take this if I was Jay over the other option.
My math was right. 6 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals, 6 goals. That was 22 goals against over that 4-game losing streak. And it's been a huge turnaround for them to grab 15 wins coming off of those 4 losses. Interesting night last night in the standings. You take a look around the Western Conference and what's happening in the wild card race. The Flames grab a huge come from behind 5-4 win against Anaheim. Milan Lucic with a beautiful shot, tying things up, and then Stone ends up with a huge goal. The Jets all of a sudden have won 2 in a row, scored 12 goals in that time. Flames have won 4 straight. So there's just 2 points separating those guys, Struddy. It's coming right down to it. Which team would you fear more in round 1 of the playoffs? Jets or Flames?
Let's assume both teams are going to be playing well at this time. I would fear the Jets more. There's just something about the Jets. I think their goaltending, obviously with Hellebuck, is someone I believe in more. I believe I like the D of Winnipeg more. And then up front, you got guys like Connors, although he struggled recently to score, or part of the problem. I think I'd go with Winnipeg.
Yeah,
I'd go with the Jets. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, Calgary is a team that it's felt its, playoff life slipping through its fingers in a different way. Like Winnipeg's just straight up blowing it. They were just straight up blowing it. That's a different headspace to be in than having a tough year where it hasn't really gone right for you. It's never really caught the way you wanted it to. That wasn't the case for Winnipeg. They were good earlier. So I think they're in a different headspace right now. The Flames have been to the bottom of it, and now they're starting to build some belief, and I think that fundamentally is a more dangerous team. I think the Flames are built for the playoffs a little differently too, like the big, robust, tough team to play against. So, to be where they've been this year and to suddenly make the playoffs, they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves as opposed to the Jets. I think the Jets are more fragile as a group, to be honest with you. So I would probably fear the Flames a little bit more in that matchup. You got the Oilers and Kings and Vegas battling it out. So looking at their schedules, right? So Vegas has played 2 more games in both the Oilers and the Kings. And this comes down in a lot of ways to scheduling. So listen to LA's schedule here. They got 5 left, but their next 3 are absolutely crucial. They got the Oilers tomorrow. Then they've got Vegas Thursday, and then the Avalanche on Saturday. They close out Monday, Thursday with Vancouver and Anaheim, 2 easier games. The Oilers have the Kings, Anaheim, San Jose, Colorado, San Jose. 3 of the 5 would be more layups as opposed to 2 of the 5 for the Los Angeles Kings. Both have to take on the Avs, and they face each other. Man, this game tomorrow night, Struds, it sets up to be so meaningful and potentially so powerful in the standings. We thought that last one was playoff caliber, playoff style. This could end up being the difference between a division title or not, or a conference title.
Oh, with so few games left, 100% it is. It's 100%. This is a huge game because really, that's just quickly. If the Oilers win that game and win the 3 layups, that's 8 out of 10 points. I'm not sure it's guaranteed, but it's going to be pretty damn close to get them in the playoffs, right? Because that means those other guys all have to run the table as well. So I think this is a huge game tomorrow, absolutely huge game. So you win that one, the 3, and then the slam dunks, and then the layups, and then you have Colorado, which I think is another game where you want to kind of send a message, not like send a message, but just build confidence, right? Continue to build confidence with the team that took you out last year. So I'm looking forward to this game tomorrow. I mean, it's so much fun. You're at the end of the year and you're fighting for your life to try to not make the playoffs, but to get it seeding, and not even seeding in your own division. You're trying to perhaps win the Western Conference, and standing between you is 2 points and a Kings team that'll be ready to go.
Okay, Struddy, take a look at our mentions there on that tweet I sent. We'll see if anybody fired any questions in that you want to get to. In the meantime, we will get to takeaways, and our takeaway segment today is going to be our interview that we did with Nick Bjugstad. Reminder, though, that takeaways are brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC, the #1 GMC dealership in all of Canada for 5 years running. Don't know if you've had a chance to see the all-new redesigned Sierra 1500 or not. It's beautiful. I'm lucky enough to have one. They've got a wide variety of trims that are available. The Denali Ultimate, generally regarded as the most advanced and luxurious in its class. And Sherwood Buick GMC actually has inventory. So if you want to get out there and go for a test drive, you're going to be able to get into the truck that you want to get into, or the vehicle or the SUV that you want to get into as well. Lots of great used and new inventory over at Sherwood Buick GMC, just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. Struds, you got anything?
Yeah, this one's kind of a non-hockey. Well, it is hockey related, but this one's more for you.
Oh,
Anyone
boy.
off the Oilers plan to sign Patrick Pistola or Skylar Brindamore?
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of the week before playoffs is when we start digging into some of those tertiary files, we will call them.
Right.
So don't know at this point. Good questions. It's funny, as soon as the trade deadline ends, the general manager and the assistant general managers, they're obviously focused on what's going on in front of them, but that's where they do sort of that planning a little ways out. But at this point, no info on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I read an article about Skylar Brindamore. Sounds like he's trending in the right direction. So I think that'd be a guy that you probably want to. Now, does he want to? And what does it look like? Whatever. But just this isn't any inside information, but just what I was reading. It sounds like he'd be a good addition.
Nice. Okay, going to get to our interview with Nick Bjugstad here, Struds. Before I get to that interview, though, and it was just him and I caught up with him in the locker room the other day. What's your overarching narrative on what Bjugstad has given the Oilers and how that has worked out so far?
I think it's been a great pickup, especially when you factor in the price point and salary cap presence he has or doesn't have, actually, with such a small salary cap. But I was, to say the least, lukewarm on Bjugstad, and I'll stand corrected. I think he brings a dynamic the Oilers didn't have. He's a really big centerman. He takes a lot of draws. He's brought some offense, but he just takes up a lot of space. And it feels like when he's out there, there's not a lot of room to move. And the lines that he's been a part of seem to be having some success. So, when you're building out a third or fourth line center, what does he look like? He checks off a lot of the boxes, and I'll admit I was wrong. I did not think that he would be a guy that would really impact Oilers, but I was wrong, and many others were right.
Had a good conversation with him. Talked a little bit about McDavid's leadership, getting settled with his family. He's out here in Sherwood Park, by the way. He's a Park guy. So that interview coming up shortly. I made the decision to try and stand during the podcast today, Struds. My back is killing me. So I'm going to actually do this in real time. I need to sit down. And so I've got the automated desk. So check this. So I push this